Welcome back to You and I Are Different. This is episode three. I'm with my hermano, Brandon Lelavoie, and we're going to go ahead and go straight to the point about what emotional intelligence is, honestly. For me, at least, what it has been throughout the past couple of years has really just getting over a lot of instilled stories and paradigms that have been uh, embedded into the root of my soul.
I like that.
And it has been it has been a journey in order to be able to come out of that, to be able to build a brand new paradigm, build a brand new mentality, and really gain control of my mind, right? And put everything else into action. That has been my experience throughout the couple or past years, and
Hmm.
I'm extremely grateful. It's real out here, man. It's really real out here. People are going through waking up every single day, um, wondering, if there's a blessing coming your way. And I want to let you guys know that the blessing is right in front of you as soon as you wake up and you look at yourself in the mirror. You are alive. That is my
Mm.
main message all the time. And my hermano, I just want to ask you, how has your experience been with emotional intelligence, and what do you think uh, brings out the actual light in knowing about emotional intelligence?
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you having me on, first and foremost. And with the emotional intelligence, I like the way you said it. It's the paradigms, it's the thoughts that get instilled in the root of your soul. We're Caribbeans, Caribeños, so we've experienced a lot of different ways of thinking. And as you navigate being a Caribbean American and going through life, meeting different people, having different interactions and relationships, it's just a real experience. It's a melting pot, and emotional intelligence has been everything for me. A couple coaches I follow, they say one of them says that emotional intelligence is the biggest thing. She says go right to that. That's the first thing. And another guy, he says to work on he says mindset. I'm going to substitute emotional intelligence because that's all part of it, but work on your mindset and your emotional intelligence like your life depends on it because it does. And my life is dependent on it. How I built my life, how I see things, how I interact with people. It's every single piece of every single day for me.
You know, and these paradigms that live on the external of our awareness, right? Of, of what we actually have going on, right? The interactions, the daily interactions with the mailman, the daily interactions with the person downstairs, with your neighbors, with your coworkers, right? It is extremely important with family members, most importantly, with people that are loved ones, that also have ideologies and thought processes that um, are a little bit just towards it's rooted towards where they're actually headed, and that is okay, and that's perfect, because everybody has their lane, and once you're able to hop into your lane and you're able to allow everybody else to run in their lane, right? Just like a track
Hmm.
and field athlete definitely
Hmm.
has to run in their lane, or else there's technicalities that can, pretty much be a violation to that team. Um, but yeah, so it is very important for, I think, people to definitely get a hold of an emotional, intelligent coach, right?
Hmm.
To assist them to get to where they want to go. If they can't see the purpose, or if they can't wake up every single day and know what their purpose is or how they're going to get it started, right? So it is very important for us to, or for me, and I know I speak for myself,
Hmm.
but we're pretty much on the same boat here. And yeah,
Hmm.
I just wanted to go ahead and ask you, what do you think about how does it affect somebody's long term to get emotional intelligence through a coach, and why is it important to focus on it now, right?
I like the analogy you use with track. I think that's a perfect example because, when you're in a track event, everybody starts at a different spot. Everybody's starting somewhere different. There's lanes. if you go in someone else's lane, you can receive a violation or even be flat out disqualified. If it worked like that in life, a lot of us would be out the game because we just be in everybody's lane, myself included. I've worked for years. When you met me, I said my goal is to mind my business. I wanted my
Yeah.
emotional intelligence and my peace to be my priority. And when I met you, I'd already been a year in. And, what's my goal for the upcoming year? Keep minding my business. And I think that's the key for longevity. There are some centurions, some black 100-year plus people, individuals who have lived to be 100 plus years with African American or black heritage. And what I found was that the one lady, she said, "You got to mind your business."
Yeah.
I think the great Betty White said, "You got to mind your business. How do you live to be so old? You got to mind your business." And there was another gentleman who said, "I stay out of folks' business." So it is a skill. It is something that comes with time. I think that, to make it very brief, we start out without the consciousness. We get consciousness and we realize, hold on, I can manipulate or improve or alter or affect my own emotional intelligence. And then not too shortly after, we go, I can help everyone else with their emotional intelligence. And I think that's where
Yeah.
we're at right now in 2025, where we get some nuggets and we're like, I need to go teach this. And I think that it's phenomenal that as a community of coaches and as individuals, we're really all looking to get that message out there. And we talk about this all the time. I alluded to it this morning. We're all saying the same thing. We're just
Yeah.
saying it a different way with a different sazon or a different twist to it or a different nugget for a specific person. But
Yeah.
it is the only way to have longevity, I believe, to have sustainable
Hmm.
longevity. And I mentioned minding our business earlier, but it's everything. It's minding our business, it's managing our emotions, it's managing our stress. And I think that our era has found that's the only way you can really do this thing, because there's so much going on. Every time you turn on the TV, or even if you don't turn on the TV, your friends come. Fulano has a story. Your abuelita has a
Your phone.
story. Your phone is hitting you, bing, bing,
Which
bing. Which story? The Bible says, which report will you believe? So I think emotional intelligence is really that in a nutshell. Which report, which story will you believe? Choosing
Yes.
which story to be emotionally invested in and mentally aware of.
Because it's just that real. I mean, what is the distinction of like somebody's life? What does somebody's life look like with emotional intelligence in compared to somebody that doesn't have an updated version? I personally want to say that it would look like somebody that is a complete pro athlete to somebody that has completely never played a sport in their life, or doesn't have any types of motive for physical activity at all, has lost the drive to want to move, right? So it is very
Mm.
important to actually to drive that car. Make sure
Yeah.
that engine is, revved up and the oil is changed, and you want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that it's rested, because
Yep.
antiques don't drive antiques. Antiques, classic cars, you don't really drive these cars. They really just keep them in a nice garage with some lights on. Floor is spick and span. So taking care of the vehicle of the vessel is actually one of our deeds here that God has told us to do. Just take care of your
Mm.
temple. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I feel like it is very important what you said earlier about the time frames of wanting to jump in after learning something. This goes for personal training as well. I want to just throw this in there. I was, after working with athletes, working with regular, everyday to day people, people that have had very traumatic experiences when it comes to a family situation or a real life situation that has caused them to go down a complete different path of pretty much just self-sabotage, right? So like,
Mm.
and that has just been embedded in their subconscious mind, which is just, uh, it's not even them acting on what they want to do. They know, but it is very important for you to receive this message, you guys out there, my people, um, that we can't rush the process once you want to try and fix something, right? If you want to update the version, you can't rush it. once you plug that phone in, right, to update your phone, for example, it takes time. It doesn't instantly just update. It takes time. It loads, then it installs. Then after it installs, you see the Apple emblem come up, right? And then after the Apple emblem comes up, the phone turns off, then it turns back on, and voila, your software is brand new. Yes, we have to learn the software before we actually are a master at the software, right? That's why people will learn it in a couple of days, a couple of hours, but somebody that isn't really invested in their phone like that, then might take a few more time, a little bit more time. My whole point is that in personal training, I've noticed this as well, that where people would want to skip the whole month process. And I think that emotional intelligence ties in strictly with personal training and taking care of yourself, because if you can control your mind, to control your body, to control your urges, to control the people that you're surrounded around, the things that you consume when it comes to your food, when it comes to your auditory, your visuals, right? It's very important for us to be emotionally intelligent to understand what is actually this person saying in that song. What am I actually watching? Am I watching this just because it's something that I am used to doing? Or am I watching this because I am trying to educate myself or whatever the case may be? But I think that it goes hand in hand, just because if you can control your mind, you can control yourself, you can control your body, and then you can actually just be disciplined to get in the fucking gym, man, and work out. And I just wanted to, I went on a tangent there, but my guy, tell me, talk to me.
In a few sentences, brother, I love the iPhone update example because I think we've all been there before. And I think that one of the exciting parts is that you get a newer iPhone or you do more updates, you start to see the update process can be very different. You know,
Yes,
some updates are long. You power that bad boy off, and then the Apple emblem comes up, and then you have that little bar there, and you're like, oh man, I guess I got to just set the phone down for a couple hours. This one might take a while. And then you have those updates where you hit update, your phone may be plugged in or not, shuts off, that little bar fills right up, and then your phone's there, and then you're like, oh, tum, 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 tum. I think that
yeah,
emotional intelligence with a phone is like that. Because you alluded
yeah,
to something earlier that a lot of people will skip the process. And I heard another coach say the other day that it's human nature to put things off. So that's where a coach or a mentor comes in to help make the decision and move it forward faster. So emotional intelligence being the ability to control your mind, which will then help you control your actions, which will then help you build new habits and routines. I think to answer that question earlier, having a coach and having an emotionally intelligent coach who can help, it's kind of like putting the gutter when you're bowling, to put the gutters in, so that no matter what you throw down that lane, it bounces off and you're at least knocking some pin downs versus just going straight into a gutter ball if you're not the most experienced bowler. So that's really all I have to say, Hermano. I think that it's phenomenal to just have a tool or a resource such as a coach who can really expedite the process and get you down that pathway without you having to bump your head or get all dirty or fall and break your leg, never make it to the promised land.
and I think that it is very important for women to listen to this podcast specifically, because the stats are the stats. And what I've seen in my personal experience is that these women get to the business.
Oh
They are
man, do
action
they?
takers. They are action takers. These mujeres will work and really make themselves what they want of themselves. But here is where the emotional intelligence must be updated. Why should it be updated for women in 2025, Herman?
Oh man, you said it all. We work with women, we see women every day. It is so important because these women get to the bag, they get to the business, they will have the kids, the house, the car. They'll do it
Mm-hmm.
alone. They'll have all that by their dang self. Um, and for this modern game, for this 2025, this 2030, that's what my focus is on, 2030, the kids of 2030. For this new
Yeah.
game, you got to be at the next level. It's like basketball. You look at the old dunk contest, okay. Vince Carter threw the legs dunk. That set the world on fire. But now you got some middle schooler right now on a ball is life or the other one just hitting them between the legs in warm up. And you're like, oh yeah, look at this 7 foot sixth grader, you know?
Yeah.
It's a new game. It's a new world. We got digital. We got the whole post 2020 thing going on. These new kids are different. These kids are, the world is just so different. So I just think that to be in this modern world, you got to have modern tools. You
Yeah.
know, it's like the vehicles, the cars. You could be driving something from the 80s and getting by, or you can have
Hmm.
something with the touch screen, the infinity screen with the bells and whistles let you know when there's something behind you, in front of you, next to you. You know, you throw that bad boy in reverse and you hear beep, beep, beep. Oh, phew, that would have been expensive.
Yeah.
I think that's what emotional intelligence feels like. I think that's what it actually feels like when you're going through life and you just navigate a situation, you know, it's like lane assist. It just puts you right back in your lane. Maybe you look down for a second and then it just puts you right back where you were supposed to be versus you veering into traffic. That's how
Yeah.
emotional intelligence feels for me. And then I can only say me because I
And
be out here, you know?
that is honestly, I think that is very important to emphasize, like how important emotional intelligence is to gain. I mean, it is an advantage of yourself. You know, you are only being at a disadvantage if you are not putting in action to gain this information,
Right, right.
because you're living in modern times, right? We are in the age of technology. We are about to transition into a world where people,
Yeah.
or actually not even, we are here now, real time. You know, we got robots, we got AI, we
Humanoid
have
era.
humanoid era, you know. So this is that we are going against, right? Or flowing through, right? At this point, we
Yeah,
should be trying to
yeah.
focus more on flowing through life instead of just running, right? Instead of just surviving, right? Because let me tell you something. 30 is young, 25 is young, 20 is young, you know,
40's
18
young.
is young, 40 is
40's
young,
young.
you know, 75 is young to me. I think once you jump 65 to 70, I think that right there is like, you know, the advanced age, if you may. That's what we call it
Right,
in Puerto
right,
Rico, the
right.
advanced age. But
Absolutely.
you know, although I want to last to 100, you know, God willing. That's the
Easily, you
goal.
know.
That's the goal,
Right,
you know.
right.
But yeah, emotional intelligence is definitely, I think, a necessity, right? Something that a lot of people could definitely benefit from in 2025, and that's really just all this episode is about. It's about you being able to embody the actual emotional intelligence self, leaving the past self behind, and um, just focusing on the blessings that come with your new self before you train yourself into anything else. Right? Just allow yourself to feel relaxed for a long period of time, for as long as possible, and see how long you'll survive. See how long you'll, I don't want to use survive, see how long you'll live. Right? See how long
Mm-hmm.
you'll live. Really, truthfully. Uh, but yeah, no, this is
Yeah,
it.
I'll close it up with this, brother. I just think that, like you said, you know, emotional intelligence is something that is embodied. Having a coach can help you embody it. It can keep you in the game. It's like speaking a foreign language. You're gonna learn it a lot faster if you have somebody in the house who speaks it. But if you only go online, a little Duolingo, a little, yeah, yeah, I've been doing it for 5 years. Would you believe I still don't speak that language? Yeah, I believe it. Versus someone who immersed themselves for 2 months or 6 months or a year. And it's something that has to be embodied because it's not enough to know. In this information era, we get very comfortable. The word is lackadaisical with having information, but we need to apply that information and embody these things so that we can actually use them to get the benefits. And I think that's the most important part because we've heard a lot of things, we've seen a lot of things. It's not enough to post a meme, it's not enough to share a reel or share or post in your story. It's not enough to just do that. Those are great things. Those are great tools. We're all learning together as a community, as a species, and as a generation, as a world. And as we continue to embody that and assist each other, I think that's the way, brother.
With that, I will just close it out by saying if you didn't hear about how to take action, at the past video, and you'll hear a couple nuggets that we a couple days ago.
Nuggets. There's a lot of resources. The most important part is to create new thoughts. New thoughts come from new thoughts. I just made up my own little tagline. New thoughts come from new thoughts. Yes, sir.
Thank you for tuning in. Get it.
Yes, sir. Get it.